Hi there, Libra. This is your weekly reading for the week of November 23rd. Thank you so much for your patience while we figured out which channel these videos would be uploaded to. As you've probably already noticed, my first channel, Rita Yanez on YouTube, all 700 plus videos are missing. And it has nothing to do with YouTube. It has nothing to do with Google. They're great developers. Their technical support is excellent. If you're willing to learn, they're willing to teach. This was another tool, actually an opportunity that fell right into my lap to be the guinea pig for all of you, for all YouTube creators. So I didn't know I was going to lose all of those videos, and it's okay because it's time to make new annual videos and everything. It was just very annoying. So we'll explain more to that effect in 2016. Probably after about March. So look forward to hearing about that, especially if you are a creator or know one who is, so that everybody makes informed decisions about what kind of partnerships they should have or not have. So with that said, Libra, we're going to start off the reading with the Emperor card. This is a card that indicates a person in a position of authority. They're actually a good guy in this position, even though he looks a little intimidating and or stern. This card can refer to your father, whether your father is here in the natural world or has crossed over to the next dimension isn't really that big a deal, but this card can also indicate that you are feeling like a father, or that you're feeling good about your accomplishments, or that you're directing your family or your tribe, your posse, the way that you think they should be led, that you're feeling pretty good about yourself, obviously. On Tuesday, the card that you've drawn is the Six of Wands in reverse. This is a card that indicates that you're feeling like, well, this was close, but no cigar. I have a lot of accomplishments, but I don't have exactly what I want. I have reached certain milestones and goals that I set for myself, but now what's the next thing I do? What's the next mountain to conquer? What's the next step in life? Well, don't worry about it too much because we're heading into the end of the year. You're probably getting these feelings because finally, the lunar nodes are off of your axis. So they used to be at Libra and Aries axis, which would be your solar first and seventh house. Now they're on Virgo and Pisces. So, of course, that would be your solar 12th and 6th house. When the nodes are present in a chart, it is about 18 months at a time in one location. So I'm doing solar astrology because I don't know your natal chart. So I'm just telling you basically where they're at. If you know your natal astrology, then, of course, you know what sign and what degree begins the cusp of the first house and so on counterclockwise around the zodiac. So with that said, now the changes will occur for you in a place that's a little more quiet, especially in the 12th house that reflects Pisces in the 6th house. And so you're probably asking yourself about your job, about your profession, whatever your chosen career is, or what it is that you want it to be. And there's a lot more ahead. So don't worry about why you feel the way you do right now. This isn't the time of year to start brand new projects out of nowhere, something that you actually like doing. Most of you do. This isn't the time to really fully invest into anything new. Think of it this way. We are at the end of the year. We're at Thanksgiving today. We're going into the holidays. Not a whole lot happens at that time. Probably the best thing to do would be to reformat your thinking, change what it is that you think might be self-defeating features of your thinking. Think about what you like to improve about yourself, and don't worry about that sense that you haven't really accomplished what you wanted to next. Life is unfolding constantly. We're evolving continuously. So don't be too hard on yourself if you feel like, well, yeah, I played the basketball game at the county fair and threw my ball into the hoops and I took home the tiny prize. I really wanted the big one. Well, there's always another fair and there's always next year, so don't worry about it too much. Here on Wednesday, we've got the Three of Swords in reverse. This is when we've got that full moon in Gemini. So that full moon is occurring in your solar 9th house, which is opposite the solar 3rd house. So that would be your 9th house, your considerations about higher education, college, extended learning, traveling to far places, spirituality, and how to become more spiritual. So that full moon there lets us know that this is a time in your life where you're really thinking about this, or that this thinking is happening to somebody in your life very close to you, like a sibling, a relative, a child of your own, family member. This is also the house that has to do with legal issues, contractual issues. Anytime that we involve a legal and possibly binding contract for a situation, it's happening there between the 8th and the 9th house typically. So when we've got a full moon here, if you do have an issue where you didn't know that you were going to be bound to an agreement, in example, I'm thinking about my son. He had a gym membership. I was telling him to be careful in the beginning that he wouldn't be stuck in a long-term contract, like you've got to pay on this for 2 years. And I don't remember what he discovered, but then when he switched banks to a credit union and I said, hey, look, you got to tell me how this works. You have to make sure that this is taken out. Did you ever figure out whether or not you were in a contract? I don't remember what he said, but that would be one of those ninth house considerations. Like, what if I don't want to go anymore? Like everyone else, I get overexcited and I want to go to the gym and I realize I'm too tired. I don't have enough time. Maybe I should have bought equipment for my home and not this. So that would be one of these considerations. The fact that the Three of Swords is present in reverse doesn't really bother me a whole lot. Saturn is touring your solar third house of Sagittarius. With that said, the sun is also there opposing that full moon in Gemini. So we've got a situation where you may just be feeling emotionally depleted. You could feel a little bit exhausted. It could be that you're actually trying to get over a virus or a cold or some malaise that just doesn't seem to go away. Why am I talking about that with the Three of Swords and the third house of Sagittarius and the ninth house of Gemini? Well, because we know that the nodes are in the 12th and the 6th house. 6th house being one that doesn't just rule your daily activities and your job. It's also talking to you about your health. Virgo on the other side in the 12th house could actually have you feeling like you're not getting good quality sleep. It could be that there's a lot of regurgitation of past lives, present lives, of subconscious fears and anxieties that are triggered this week because of the Neptune-Saturn square, giving us a little bit of a bristle. It could just be that you're feeling a little bit out of sorts. So I don't see a problem with this Three of Swords. It could be that there's an old issue that has something to do with a divorce, with a family, with an ex-family, with ex-family members, with ex-siblings, with the ex-husband, with the ex-wife, with the ex-stepkids. There could be something here that's from the past that tried to resurrect itself and you're like, oh boy, here we go. And you being the most wonderful diplomats in the zodiac, of course you're trying to make everybody feel good. You might have had to come to a realization, which is this week's focus on astrology, that sometimes things are just the way they are. Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. You can't fix the past. You can't fix what's broken when the people who are responsible for the broken pieces don't want to do this. You're not here to save the world from itself or to bring peace and harmony and to give everybody a Coca-Cola and run barefoot in the grass chasing butterflies. So you can do that in your world with the people who choose to go along with this. But the moment that you realize you're trying to make somebody else's life situation better, you're exhausted, you're depleted. And, this has been a pretty eventful year, not in a bad way, because of course, when Saturn was in Scorpio touring your second house, you probably felt like you couldn't make progress financially, that you weren't getting any raids, that you weren't getting any bonuses, that the opportunities just weren't there. And opposite the 8th house of partnership, death, taxes, IRS, transformation, you may have felt like, I'm trying to do the right thing, taking care of my family. I just don't have the opportunities. And then boom, when Saturn moved out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius for the first time in almost 30 years on, I think it was December 25th, approximately 2014, those breaks started coming to you more fluidly. You had kind of an inkling of what this was going to be like at the beginning of last year, or excuse me, in the summer of the year before, the summer of 2014, and then you felt that sluggishness again, which had to do with some other difficult aspects. So with that said, just make those realizations. Don't try to fix what isn't really yours to repair. When other people talk and they talk to you and you feel like it's a somehow an unconscious request for help, then make a statement like, are you telling me these things because you'd like my opinion? If so, you need to ask me for my opinion, but remember, I'm not a player in this. You may have to actually say those words to see if they really are just venting or if they need your help. And sometimes you guys have to make sense of needing to pull out of a situation, a drama that has nothing to do with you, because you like to find balance and peace and harmony, but not everybody does, and not everybody can find this. With Venus at 16 Libra opposite Uranus at 16 Libra, which of course solar astrology would be your first house. And I'm trying to remember, I think I said that wrong before. Now I don't remember what I said, but just keep in mind that we've got a quincunx energy with Venus at Libra 16 and Chiron at 16 Pisces about to go direct here. And a quincunx or inconjunct is another adjustment kind of aspect where something needs to change, something needs to be released. And it could be just that your expectations at work, 6th house, Pisces, Chiron, Neptune, that you're realizing, hey, look, yeah, like my mom said, this isn't a permanent job. This is a paycheck. So keep that in mind. Thursday with the Ace of Wands upright lets me know that you're feeling creative again. Creative juices flowing like so much gravy. And so you're able to feel like you can implement new plans and even new hobbies. But again, take it very slow. You guys are often the ones with 15 hobbies, and you're doing them all at the same time and none of us can keep up with you. And so this is just an indication that there's a lot of newness coming, but it isn't time to actually implement. It's time to think about this. It's considering that it's winter, for example, in the northern hemisphere, or at least where I'm at, that this is not the time that we'd really start planting a garden. Even the ground freezing is not time for winter crops, because now that's not going to happen. So we'd be thinking about what we're going to do in the spring. What kind of gardening, what kind of seeds can we plant? What are we going to sow into the ground so that we could reap some harvest later? So keep that in mind, that you're just at the time now where you're thinking about what it is that you can actually do. How will it be fun? How does it benefit you? And what do you have in terms of the conditions and environment to do what you want to do? With Mars at 7 Libra conjuncts Neptune at 7 Pisces, again, that on Tuesday was giving us the other element there of an adjustment to help things flow more easily without having to jump in and save people out of the quicksand. And Mercury at 6 Sagittarius with Saturn at 6 Sagittarius causing a conjunct here. You're having to be realistic about the way that you communicate your ideas to other people. Remember that not everyone is going to appreciate the same thing you do, and that's okay as long as they don't shove their opinion down your throat. Friday, we've got the 7 of Wands in reverse, and this is a kind of energy that is, again, bringing up some of that tension between Mercury at 7 Sag squaring Neptune at 7 Pisces. So again, this is needing to clear the air, but maybe again, this is not the right time. 7 of Wands is saying that you're already feeling like you can't make progress, either with a certain group, either with a particular family member, either in your own relationship, whatever it is, let it go, release it, allow it to be what it is, study it, observe it, put plans into action in the near future, but not at this time. Saturday, the 8 of Swords is talking about the energy of a person who doesn't feel like they're gonna make progress. Again, we've got that theme of you wanting to get ahead of yourself and to make progress, and you feel ready and you're feeling like you can do it, and the universe says, hey, but we're slowing down. Maybe you feel some confusion about what you're going to do with your life. I remember my son bringing this up to me the other day, that he feels he's ready to go back to school now, and I told him, not this year, not with this astrology. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone, because this is already, not only just because the semester started, but even with online education to finish a couple of degrees, you'd have to be ready for it. Well, the holidays are going to be too distracting as it is. I think you need a little more of a break than you think you do. I think that your energy's been a little bit low, and it could have just been simple things like a cold virus, a little flu virus, something such as this, a little fatigue, full moon, draining the batteries, that kind of thing. You need to take care of the body. You need to take care of yourself. You need to give yourself that rest. You need to keep people's dramas away. Now, if somebody really needs to vent to you or something, or there's something that comes up that is somewhat intense, try to do the best you can to stay out of the way. And if somebody asks you for an opinion, I guess this is not the week that I would want to do it either. Also, with Saturn at 7 Sagittarius squaring Neptune at 7 Pisces, again, this is more about the inner reflection and not engaging in any self-defeating behaviors, discussions, topics, and even vampire people, the people that just drain the energy out of you. Exactly. Sunday, we have the World card, and this is a card that indicates that you're wrapping up a stage or a part of your life that is now ready for evolution. You're actually getting ready to take that next step into the next space in your life, the next reality that you create. Chiron stationing and going direct there at 16 Pisces also gives us the hint that we can heal some old wounds, even if it only is as much as we can reconcile that things cannot be corrected, that the past is what it is, that we can't go back and make things better for people, that everyone makes their own choices just like we do. And likewise, people make mistakes the same we do too. And that you're not here to correct anybody's life. You're also not supposed to be on a stick being a martyr, and you're here to make life sweet for other people and to give good advice and to be a good friend and to be a good person. But you don't have to worry about changing people who have made decisions in their minds, no matter what it is. It always comes across like the plunger in the face, right? Like poof, poof, poof. I'm going to make you think what I do, and you don't want it either. So don't even try to do it to anybody else. Even if you know that you're saving their life, they may not appreciate it the way that you are trying to express it. So again, too much room for family dysfunction. I hope no alcohol's involved, because that's just a recipe for one rocket of a disaster. We also have Venus at 22 Libra, semi-sextile Hagi at 22 Virgo. There is healing that is a very real potential, as well as having Mercury at 13 Sag conjunct Fortuna at 13 Sag, that there is a benefit here in listening to your inner wisdom and communicating only that which needs to be without adding too much more, letting other people come to their own conclusions. When the Sun is at 7 squaring Neptune at 7 Pisces, we again have that idea that even though light is shed on situations, situations, and it helps us move forward or to make decisions, assessments, or determinations. It's not always a happy thing, but I'll tell you what is. The new moon in Leo on the 30th, that's coming up for you. That's going to be in your solar 11th house. So it sounds like you're going to be hanging out with, spending time with, or making new friends. And Libra, that's all about you.